Your subconscious mind is your partner in success. That's what we're going to be talking about on this video today. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Rob Moore, award-winning author, leadership expert, founder of therobmoore.com. What I do is I help people become better leaders and perform better no matter where they are or what they do. And I want to share this story with you that literally took place a few days ago, and it's really cool, and it has everything to do with what I said at the beginning of the video, is that your subconscious mind is your partner in success. Your subconscious mind, that part of your brain, is doing stuff all the time behind the scenes to help you get the things that you want in life. It's either working for you on a positive aspect or it's working for you on a negative aspect, all based on what you want. So let me see, where do I start with this story? Well, let's put it like this. Let's start here. It was I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, right? I had arrangements made, to go to a Tony Robbins event, Unleash the Power Within. Right? So I go to this event, and I'm so hungry about doing my work, at home, for the internet side of my business, that I only stayed at this event for 2 days, and I left because I wanted to learn from Tony. I wanted to learn more about what he was teaching. But the truth of the matter is, I spent a whole year prior to going to that, studying with a company called Peak Potentials, which is kind of like what Tony does, but just a little different way of doing things. And, I just left my corporate job, and I was just so hungry, so excited, to really get into my internet business side of my corporation. So I couldn't take it anymore, and I left, right? So I leave this event, and literally like maybe 4 or 5 days later, I get an email, from the Tony Robbins, from the representative that I'm dealing with, with booking my event for Tony Robbins. So he sends me an email and he goes, Rob, what the world happened at the event? And the reason why he said that was because he got a notice saying that I was a no-show, which I don't understand why I was a no-show, because I did go there. I was there for 2 days and I left. So, I told him the truth. I was like, listen, I went and some things came up and I left after 2 days. I didn't go into specifics and all that stuff. So he was like, all right, cool. So listen, since you didn't stay for the whole entire event, if you would like, I can book you into the next event, which would be in, San Jose, California in July. So to be totally honest with you, when I left that event, I wanted to really just stay engaged in building my business. And I really didn't have any, intentions on going to this Tony Robbins event anytime in the future, maybe 5-10 years down the road, but I never had any intention of going back. So since he offered, I was like, all right, well, go ahead, put me down. And then he was telling me it's going to be $75 transfer fee, paid the $75, whatever. Didn't think about it anymore. July comes around, and I got a lot of things going on in my business, a lot of things going on in my personal life, and it just wasn't the right time for me to go. So I emailed them up and I was like, listen, I can't go to the July one, so why don't you just move me, to the one in November, which is in Orlando, Florida, which is coming up in a few days. So he's like, cool, no problem. So some time goes by in my life, right? And now I'm to a point where I was like, you know what? I know I said I'm going to this event in Orlando, but I'm just not gonna freaking go. I was like, I'm engaged in my business. I'm working my business. I don't want to go. I mean, I kind of would like to go, but you know what? The truth of the matter is, if I do go, it's going to cost me, about $1,000 between plane tickets and hotel. And I was like, first of all, I don't really feel like going, and it's going to cost me $1,000, right? So as time goes by, I'm working in my business, and I'm hitting a couple walls in my business, and I'm starting to get some frustration, going through a really tough time in my business at this time. So I was like, oh, I got to get my freaking mind right. So I haven't listened to like any of Tony's stuff like in a while, right? So I was like, you know what? I haven't listened to Tony in a very long time. Let me bust out some Tony Robbins tapes. So I bust out some Tony Robbins tapes, and I've listened to these tapes a lot. I've implemented a lot of these things. And the first tape that I popped in, I don't remember exactly which one it was. Matter of fact, I do remember. It was the first CD of the Ultimate Edge program, which is his newest program that he has out right now. And even though I've heard this program like numerous times, I mean like more than like 10 times, it was like I was hearing it for the first time. And this is a lesson here that just came to mind that I'll share with you. It doesn't matter how many times you go through a book, a CD, any type of program, or attend a seminar, you're going to get different distinctions from it every single time. Why does that happen? It happens because as you learn, as you grow, your mind changes, your mind shifts. So you can go through a program literally 10 times, right? And still look at it from a whole different aspect, because your brain is like totally different based on all the experiences you've been having in your life, all the learning and growing that you've been going through. So that's really what happened. So it was almost like I never went through this program before. I mean, it was just that different to me. And I started, going through, so I decided not to just listen to a few CDs. I decided to get back into the program and go through the program like he suggests, which is 1 CD per day and 1 exercise per day. So I'm going through this thing, and I'm getting all these aha moments, and I'm connecting with Tony, and I'm connecting with this program in a way that I have never connected with it before. And that told me deep down in my heart that, you know what, Rob, you need to freaking go to this event coming up in November. So I was like, yeah, I do want to go. But then at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm like, if I go, we're talking, $1,000. So I decided to do some research anyway, right? So I go online, I look at hotels, they got all these hotels reserved. I'm not going to have a car because I will have to be walking back and forth from the event. So I need something close. So I go and check all these different hotels that are within walking distance. They're all completely freaking booked out. If you ever been to a Tony Robbins event, he usually averages like freaking 5,000 people in the event. So that's the main reason why you can't be messing around with these hotels at the last minute. So I'm like, well, I can't get a freaking hotel. So, but, I can go there and try to talk to some people and get a hotel room. I wasn't really too interested in that. I'm a very organized person. I like to have my stuff planned ahead of time, especially when I'm traveling that far. So I was like, you know what? Well, let me go look at the plane tickets. So I go look at some plane tickets. The cheapest price is like $400 and something. I mean, from New York to freaking Florida, $400. I'm expecting to be, $100, $200 tickets. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not freaking going. But still, I'm going through the Ultimate Edge program every day, connecting, growing, getting new distinctions, feeling totally different, my mind shifting in a different way, dramatically, like it has never shifted before in a very long time. So once again, I'm back thinking, this is telling me something. I need to go to this event. If I go to this event, I'm going to have a major breakthrough. So I go back, look at the plane tickets again. Now, but this is a few days later, they're like 200 and something. I'm like, this is better. You know what? I think I'm going to go. But then I'm thinking about the hotel. What am I going to do with the hotel? But now I'm to this point where, you know what? I don't care if I have to freaking fly there and talk to some people. I will find somebody that will let me stay with them. So I send an email to the representative, who's been helping me out with anything I need with Tony Robbins' company. And I was like, listen, some things have changed. No, well, a few days prior to that, I emailed him and told him I was definitely not coming and they were going to give me some products instead. So I emailed him back again and I was like, you know what, some things have changed and I might be able to go. And if I am going to go, I'll know by today, am I still able to go if I want to go? And he's all excited and he was like, absolutely, you can go, but you have to let me know today, like literally by the end of the morning, because today is the last day that you can make a decision to go to this event. So like right there, I'm already realizing in my mind that, wait a minute, what's the chances of me contacting him to tell him that there's a possibility that I may be able to go, and there's literally just a few hours left before I have to make a final decision? What's the chances of all that happening? What's the chances of me hitting a wall in my business, getting really frustrated, even getting a little lost, a little off track, putting in a CD from Tony Robbins' program that I have, and seeing it and feeling it from a totally different way than I've ever felt it before? And then get engaged in it and want to do the program every day. What's the chances of that happening? So then, after I did that, I found out that I had to let him know within a few hours. I was like, you know what? Since I did a lot of traveling the year prior when I was in Peak Potentials, for Delta Airlines, I had a ton of freaking miles. And I've been trying to use these miles like several times throughout the year, and I just have not been able to use them because I didn't have enough miles to use them for the plane tickets that I wanted to use them on. So I was like, every time I call, it's just not going to work out. So I was like, maybe I'm not even going to bother calling. Maybe I'll just have to freaking call, get these plane tickets for $200 and something and just fly to freaking Orlando and try to get a roommate down there. Maybe that's just what I got to do. But I was like, you know what? It ain't going to freaking hurt, for me to at least call and ask. Even though that the last 5 times I called to use my Sky Miles, they told me no because I didn't have enough. So I called. And the lady that I talked to was the lady that was the first person that I ever talked to with my Sky Miles account that I talked to over the phone. She was the nicest lady. Oh my God, great customer service. Really, really good. And she was the one that answers the phone. So I'm like, cool. So we're having a little conversation. I tell her what I want to do. And I was like, I haven't been having a lot of luck, but I would really appreciate it if you can check to see if there's some free plane tickets available that I can use my Sky Miles on, for these dates. I need to leave around this time and I need to come back around this time. So I want to leave on Thursday, right? To go to this event because the event starts in the afternoon. But I was like, I don't have a problem leaving the day before. So she was like, well, we don't have anything for Thursday, but you can go anytime that you want on Wednesday. So I'm like, cool. So she's already ready to book me in. But I was like, you can't book me in because I need to know when I can come back. So she's like, well, you can't come back on Sunday, which is fine because the event ends at 7 on Sunday and it's kind of too much of a hassle to try to catch a plane in time anyway. So she was like, well, you can come back anytime on Monday. So I was like, wait a minute, I can come back anytime on Monday. I can leave anytime on Wednesday, and I'm not going to have to pay for these plane tickets? And she was like, yep, we can book it right now. She's like, matter of fact, I'm going through. There is a surcharge for $30, but that's all you have to pay. And you just tell me what airport, what time, and you will be all set, good to go. So I was like, holy smokes, this is freaking awesome. So then she goes to me, like, we get done with the transaction. Then she goes to me, well, do you need a hotel? And I'm like, well, yeah, kind of, sort of. I'm in the process of looking. I'm trying to find a roommate somewhere. Well, she was like, let me tell you what, why don't I just connect you with our connections, and then you can call, you can talk to the person, tell them what you're looking for, get some quotes, get some prices, and then you can at least find out, what we have to offer compared to whatever you go look at. So at least you can compare them. So I'm like, all right, that's not going to freaking hurt anything. So I decide, yeah. So I go, she connects me, to this service. I'm talking to this guy, and I tell him what I need. I tell him when I'm coming in. I'm telling him when I'm leaving. I'm telling him where the event is. I tell him that I need to get like right there in walking distance. So he goes through, does his little thing, and he goes to me, well, I do have something. It's 0.4 miles away, which is like an 8-minute walk. And it's at a very nice resort. The rating is a 4, and the rate is $47.59 per night. So I'm like, $47.59. I'm like, so I'm thinking the guy's got to be talking about $400 and something, or maybe he's talking about something totally different. So I'm like, wait a minute, did you say $47.59? He's like, yes. And I was like, per night? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Matter of fact, tell me the hotel again, and I'm going to Google it, because I gotta see if this is right. So he tells me the name. I open up Google. I go on Google, and let me tell you something. What comes up? It's a freaking beautiful freaking resort. I mean, beautiful. So now that makes me even less believable of what he's actually telling me. So I'm like, are you sure? So like, we're going through all these questions. I'm asking for, what's the address, because I can compare it to what's on the website, yada da, all that stuff. Come to find out, it's the real deal. So I have to stay in Orlando for 5 nights, right? It's $47.59 a night, 5 nights, Orlando, Florida, next to the convention center, 8-minute walk, 0.4 miles, $306. For 5 nights. I'm like, I couldn't tell you the last time I ever been to a freaking nice hotel anywhere. Matter of fact, I can't even tell you the last time that I stayed anywhere for 5 nights and paid $300. So the thing is that I wanted to go on this trip, but I told my mind, I told the universe that I didn't want to pay $1,000. So the universe, my subconscious mind, found a way for me to go for not only less than that, but not even less than half of that, but even less than that. So the whole entire trip is going to cost me $336.09. I've never paid that little for any type of trip at all. So that's the power of what your subconscious mind can do for you. Because it wasn't just the fact that I said that I wanted this to happen. I really wanted it to happen with my mind, my emotions, my feelings, the whole nine. Everything was in place. Everything was in place. I mean, what are the chances of me going to that event and being in that state and leaving so that I can have those tickets to go at a time where I needed it most? Because at that time, when I went to that event in, I don't know, I think it was in April, I did not need that event at that time. I did not need it. It would have done things for me, but it would not have impacted me like I know it's going to impact me right now. So what's the chances of that whole situation happening in that way? What's the chances of me having all these sky miles available and trying to use them over and over and over and over and over again and not being able to use them, but for the situation that I want to use them more than anything, they're available to be used right now? What's the chances of me struggling to find a hotel, all the hotels being totally booked up, me having to think about taking the opportunity and a chance of just going to an event, walking around with my freaking suitcases, talking about, do you know anybody that can use a roommate? And not only do I find a hotel, but I pay less than the freaking plane ticket, which was freaking would have been $400 if I paid the first time I saw the freaking plane tickets. What's the chances of me being able to, the last day where there's literally a few hours left before they have to make the final reservations for the event, that I emailed and got a response back that I had literally a couple of hours left to make a decision if I really wanted to go? I mean, there were so many things that happened to line up this whole situation. And these things, this is not luck. It's not luck. And it's not me making it happen consciously. It's my subconscious being my partner in success and going to work to make the things happen that I really want to happen. And not only deliver, but deliver at a rate way better than I ever expected. So we all have the power to do these things. And I can give you example over example over example of things and situations that have happened like this in my entire life. And we make these things happen. So the power to making big things happen is really your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind taps into the universe. It taps into the infinite intelligence that's in the world to make things happen for you, to attract the things that you want and need, to set things up in a way perfect to get you the things that you want. So I just wanted to share with you my experience. You know, that was like my latest experience on how the subconscious mind has been the partner in my success. And I hope that you do the same things. And I can tell you right now, if you really were to take some time right now and just really think of some of your biggest successes, you would see that these same things have happened to you. But the really cool thing is we can make these things happen by tapping directly into our subconscious mind and telling our subconscious mind exactly what we're looking to do. And your subconscious will deliver every single time as long as you're clear. And it might do even better. So that's my tip for today. Before I let you go, I just want you to do two things for me. Make sure you stop by my website at therobmoore.com. I got some really cool tools and resources there to help you become a better leader and perform better no matter where you are or what you do. Yeah, no matter where you are or what you do. And also, go to workwithrobmoore.com to see how me and you can possibly work together in the future on some projects that I'm working on. Hey, my name is Rob Moore, reminding you to show up, step out, and shine. Now is your time to make it shine. Thank you very much and have a great day.